Hey, it's your boy Jim CB, and we're back with another video for the channel, man. Yo, listen, Suge Knight out here being called a liar, man, by the Las Vegas and Compton PD. Um, so basically, I believe Chris Carroll from Las Vegas, and I think so did what's his name? I want to say Greg Kading. Um, did recent interviews with Art of Dialogue, and I think Cam Capone. I don't know if the Craig King one is that new, but basically said the shape that Tupac was in, there was no way on God's green earth that he was able to move around and try to jump in the backseat, right? So I see people in the comment section and online saying how they know they wasn't in the car. The police always lying by the evidence. The evidence suggests, hey, when you take these 4 or 5 shots in these areas, the hip, chest area, and you can barely mouth words and you bleeding out of the mouth and nose, that all that moving around ain't really, you know, if a bullet hits you in the hip and travels through your lungs and you can barely breathe, your movement is done. You trying to walk around and jump around and hop and grab for guns is done. And it also says that Keefe D's a liar when he said he saw Tupac reaching. Because how you reaching and you don't even know what's coming. The gun come out the window. They start shooting immediately. How you got time or trying to grab anything? He couldn't even hit the stash spot fast enough to get to the blickies. And then, like, security and everything like that, during the whole podcast, said that security took their guns, so they didn't have guns in Vegas. So they was left out there naked, left out there hanging. And so some of the things that was said regarding on each side, the other side is saying, hey, them cops is lying, hey, Suge and them is lying. But my whole thing is, it's been 27 years. This man is dead. He ain't coming back. Biggie's dead. They ain't coming back. So at the end of the day, when you think about some of these things and allegations, people like to retell histories at times. And even with that, you know, who's to say their account wasn't accurate? And it's been so long that, you know, when you get shot at, you don't really, everything's happening so fast. You know, it's just flying by. Either you make it out the situation without being shot and unscathed, or you get shot, you live to tell about it, or you get shot and die. Like, but those seconds, those little minute decisions, you remember everything before and everything after, if you haven't after. But a lot of times those memories jumble, you block certain parts because it's traumatic. You know what I'm saying? So that's just probably the way Suge sing it. So I wouldn't call him a complete liar, you know, but he may have not. He may have tried to jump, but it's a couple seconds. You know what I'm saying? Like he saw the guys standing at the corner, they wasn't in no car. That window came down. That big ass gun came out. Boom, 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 boom. It is what it is. It was what it was. And they said the door was riddled with bullets. So yeah, man, rest in peace, Tupac. You know, but they said based on evidence that Suge's a liar, he wouldn't have been able to move around. Now cops, you know, they've seen this thing before. The medical examiner knows what they're looking at, and they knew what shots were fatal. Yeah, and basically they even said in the ambulance, this man was dead, man. So yeah, and ain't no Suge doing his 28 right now, so it's like a lot of stuff he can't really get out here and respond to. He do a couple jail interviews and things like that, but if jail and lockdown, he can't even do that. So right now, everybody's just throwing salt on his name, man. And what about hell a way to end your career and your legacy? 28 years behind bars. We using bully tactics, man. So prayers to all parties involved, man. This is Jim CBL.
Suge Knight has been constantly abused by the cops. Well, he ain't been abused, but his character has been assassinated, man, constantly. Um, and who knows the truth? I mean, I know he's done a lot, but that bully image, that mentality that he had, that he was running with, that he used to capitalize in the music industry, man, it gave him a bad rep and a bad name as a civilian. You know, running around with the Bloods, red suits. So of course there's you know, some type of tension between him and the LA cops and even the Vegas cops because he wouldn't speak about what he knew as far as the murder. He wouldn't give up the shooter of Tupac or nothing like that. And of course, KBD and the Southside Crips laid claim to it. But at the end of the day, he hasn't given them anything that they wanted, so uh, they have it out for him. And even with the situation, with the death of Terry Carter and the injury to Bone Sloan, man, Suge has had a run in with the cops for forever. And so Vegas PD ain't rocking with him. LA County cops ain't rocking with him. So he got problems out west with the cops, man. Always had. It's tragic, man. And he just doing this 28, but he's not doing 28 based off of the current crime necessarily. He's doing it based off of everything that he's done, everything he hasn't done, everything that he's been a part of, everything that he's been accused of. And now they just dragging him through the mud. And I wonder if they would reduce his sentence if he gave them any information on the Tupac murder, which I don't think he would. I doubt that he would give anything up at this point because it's been 30 years. And when you ducking and dodging, it's almost impossible to see who the assailants are. I mean, it just is what it is, man. So, yeah.